Have you ever had that feeling, deep in the woods, that you're not alone, that something is watching you from just beyond the trees? Well, for a hiker named Ben, that feeling became a reality he would never forget. Ben was an experienced outdoorsman. He'd spent years trekking through the dense forests of the Pacific Northwest, seeking solitude and the thrill of the unknown. But on one particular autumn afternoon, as the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting long, eerie shadows across the trail, he stumbled upon something that defied all explanation. At first, it was just a sound, a faint, whimpering cry, like a lost puppy. It was unusual, out of place in this remote wilderness. Ben's curiosity got the better of him. He stepped off the well-trodden path and followed the sound, pushing through thick ferns and ancient undergrowth. The whimpering grew louder, more desperate, and then he saw it. Huddled at the base of a giant redwood, looking small and terrified, was a creature straight out of folklore. It was covered in shaggy, dark, brown fur, with large, soulful eyes that were filled with tears. It couldn't have been more than 3 feet tall. It was a baby Bigfoot. Ben froze. Every instinct told him to back away slowly, to run. Legends of Bigfoot were always accompanied by tales of their immense size, strength, and aggression towards humans. But looking at this little creature, trembling with cold and fear, Ben felt a surge of compassion, not terror. The baby let out another heart-wrenching sob, and Ben's decision was made. He cautiously approached, speaking in a soft, soothing voice. "Hey there, little guy. It's okay. You're lost, aren't you?" The baby Bigfoot flinched at first, but Ben's calm demeanor seemed to reassure it. He noticed a nasty gash on its leg, tangled in a thorny vine. It was clearly in pain. Ben slowly knelt down, unpacking his first aid kit. "Let me help you with that," he whispered. "This might sting a little, but it'll make it better." With gentle, careful movements, he untangled the vine and cleaned the wound. The little creature watched him the entire time, its big, dark eyes filled with a mixture of fear and curiosity. After applying a clean bandage, Ben offered it a piece of an apple from his pack. The baby hesitated for a moment, then snatched the apple and began to munch on it eagerly. A small smile touched Ben's lips. This was incredible. He was interacting with a creature that most of the world believed was just a myth. As he watched the baby eat, he became aware of that feeling, again the distinct sensation of being watched. This time, it was intense, powerful. He scanned the surrounding woods, his heart pounding in his chest. He saw nothing but trees and deepening shadows. He knew he couldn't just leave the baby here. It was getting dark, and the temperatures were dropping. "All right, let's see if we can find your mom," Ben said, more to himself than to the little creature. He scooped the baby Bigfoot into his arms. It was surprisingly light, and after a moment of stiffness, it relaxed against his chest, clinging to his jacket. As Ben stood up, a twig snapped nearby. It was loud, deliberate. "Espunaraun, isa is wide." And that's when he saw her. Standing about 50 yards away, partially hidden behind a massive pine tree, was the mother. She was colossal, easily, over 8 feet tall, a mountain of muscle and fur. Her eyes, glowing faintly in the twilight, were locked directly on him. Ben's blood ran cold. He was holding her child. This was it. This was how it ended. He was sure she would tear him apart for getting so close to her baby. He stood perfectly still, his mind racing. The baby in his arms began to whimper again, reaching a tiny hand out towards its mother. The massive female took a step forward, and the ground seemed to vibrate. Ben braced himself for the attack, but the attack never came. Instead, the mother did something completely unexpected. She tilted her head, and a low, rumbling sound came from her chest. It wasn't a growl of aggression, but something else entirely. It sounded inquisitive. She took another slow step, then another, never taking her eyes off Ben and the baby. Ben, still terrified, but realizing she wasn't charging, slowly lowered himself to one knee. He gently placed the baby on the ground, giving it a little nudge forward. "Go on," he whispered. "Go to your mom." The baby stumbled on its freshly bandaged leg for a moment, then hobbled as fast as it could towards the giant figure. The mother knelt down, her immense size becoming even more apparent, and enveloped the little one in a massive, protective hug. She stroked its head and examined the bandage on its leg with a surprising gentleness. She then looked back at Ben. Her expression was unreadable, but the intense threat he felt before had vanished. She stood up, holding the baby securely in one arm. Ben thought she would simply turn and disappear back into the forest, and he would be left with a story no one would ever believe. But she didn't leave. Not yet. With her free hand, she reached towards a nearby fir tree and snapped off a large branch laden with pine cones. Then, she walked forward, closing the distance between them until she stood just a few feet away from the stunned and motionless Ben. She was a truly awe-inspiring sight, powerful and majestic. She extended her hand, offering him the branch. Ben was confused. Was this a warning? A threat? He cautiously reached out and took it from her. Her fingers were thick and calloused, yet her touch was incredibly light. As soon as he had the branch, she gave a soft grunt, turned, and with a few impossibly long and silent strides, vanished into the dark woods with her baby. Ben stood there for a long time, his heart still hammering against his ribs, holding a branch full of pine cones. He was completely bewildered. Why had she given this to him? It made no sense. He eventually made his way back to his camp, his mind reeling from the encounter. The next morning, as he packed up his gear, he looked at the branch. On a whim, he broke open one of the pine cones. An Agas bit. Inside, nestled among the seeds, were small, glittering nuggets. They weren't rocks. He bit one. It was soft. It was gold. He frantically broke open the rest of the pine cones. Every single one was filled with raw, natural gold. The mother Bigfoot hadn't just spared him. She had thanked him. She had paid him for his kindness to her child, with a treasure from the heart of the mountain. Ben left the forest that day a changed man, not because of the gold, but because of the encounter. He had been shown a side of the world that was hidden, magical, and far more intelligent than he had ever imagined. He never told anyone the full story, knowing they wouldn't believe him. But sometimes, on a quiet night, he looks at the single gold nugget he kept and remembers the mother's eyes and the incredible act of gratitude that bridged the gap between two different worlds. It just goes to show, you never know what a little kindness will bring back to you. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible tales from the edge of the unknown. See you next time.